Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. Madman in the morning. The mayor, Candy's in the house. Madman, guys, glad to have you. We're at the Coffee House Cafe.
Yep. Where's Brett?
He's gone again.
See, last week Brett was here. I wasn't here. People are starting to think me and Brett are the same person.
Or either you
son
don't
of the
like
brother
each
could be.
other,
Yeah.
one or the other.
Yeah. I think last Thursday I was feeling a little down. I knew what was about to happen to my Hokies, so I stayed in bed.
What a bad game.
Ooh,
Oh, no.
bad isn't even the adjective to use for that. That was
My house
terrible.
was not very pleasant that night. Rocky was not very happy camper either.
It was not good.
Yep.
But new week.
Here we are, new
Hey,
week.
Dallas did not lose last week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
They didn't play.
That's right.
They'll get their
guys-
chance
So we
this
can't say
week.
nothing about the Cowboys this week.
Well, I'm hoping that Amari Cooper will have had a week at least to adjust and get in the line and do
So
some
does
receiver
Amari.
stuff.
Yeah.
He does too.
Right. Big stay healthy, stay on the field.
I hope
But
so.
but yes, we are at the Coffee House Cafe, guys. We're here every Thursday morning. Come by, have a cup of coffee.
And I don't have my Cowboys cup. I ran off without my cup. I feel like it's going to be hard to do this show without it, but I'll try.
It's
You'll make good picks today.
yeah. Yeah, that'll bring a little luck.
I did a little better last week, guys.
You did, and Zach had a great week. I think Zach was 7-3, 8-2, somewhere in that ballpark.
Well, he wasn't even here.
I sent my picks in.
Oh,
He sent them in by
you
carrier
cheated.
pigeon.
I made sure.
They come in by carrier pigeon, and I found them one day.
I think one of my
Whatever
losses
works.
was the tech.
it
the
was.
tech game.
I think we all
Yeah, what do you do?
probably lost that
I
one.
think if anybody was a betting person on the tech game, they would have lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That game got out of hand in a hurry.
Sure did.
Locally, what's going on?
Big week locally. High school football wraps up tomorrow night. Well, it actually begins tonight. Twin Valley Hurley, that's a big rivalry game over in Buchanan County. That's tonight. Tazewell and Lebanon wrap up the regular season. Tazewell, I think, still has a small chance to get in the playoffs.
Really?
So,
I did not know
yeah.
that.
So hopefully,
How many
Dogs
games have they lost? Though? Like, they lost a lot.
5 or 6.
Okay, so you can still get in.
Yeah, I think,
Okay.
yeah, with their schedule, I think they could still get in. I'm not 100% sure. Richlands and Virginia High battling for second place in the
It's going to be a
Southwest
tough
District.
game, and we have
Yes.
to go to Virginia.
Yeah,
right,
that's
Bristol.
always a tough place to play
It is.
down there.
But they can do it.
Yeah.
They will.
So high school football wrapping up regular season this week. UVA Wise Senior Day Saturday, they've got a tough opponent. Number 13 in the country, Notre Dame College, coming to Wise. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Noon kickoff at Wise Saturday to that one. And then just a whole entire great weekend of football, college and pro.
Yeah, you
Saturday,
got
Sunday,
that
and
right.
Monday. So
It's sad that high school's already wrapping up. I mean, it's getting ready
Yeah.
for the playoffs, you know, and we were just talking about it starting.
yeah, but November, December are the best times
Oh, yeah.
for
Love
high
it.
school football.
Especially in college and pro.
Yeah,
We got-
it's going to be a good month of football.
We got a big week this week, and that even starts tonight with UCF playing
Yes.
Temple tonight. Milton may not play again.
Yeah.
Everybody knows now. But Milton may not play. They pulled the old trick last week, but not this week. Milton's still hurt with a bad shoulder. That UCF game and Temple game could be interesting to see.
Yeah,
It's,
I think so too. Temple, they've been up and down all year. Villanova, D1AA team got them early. So that's kind of a rivalry game. But you never know which Temple team's going to show up in prime time. It'll be interesting.
they're normally, when they're on TV, prime time, they show up and play
Yeah.
ball. They've got a great defense. They've had that ever since Matt Rule was there, who's now at Baylor.
Yeah.
But he really turned that program around when he was at Temple, and that defense hasn't missed a beat since he's left.
Seems like there's something about prime time. No matter how good or bad you are, prime time just turns it on, doesn't
When
it?
the lights
so
come
you
on.
never know. I mean, you have a chance because everybody's so excited and,
Yeah.
and a little bit of jittery nerves there, but it's always fun, prime time.
I always want to show out.
Yeah. Guys, real quick before we get started on some games and things this week, don't forget about Madman Turns Santa. Guys, it's getting close. We're November, so we're right around the corner. It's Christmas time.
Yes.
It's almost Thanksgiving. So if you know a family, they've got kids, you want them to have a Merry Christmas, make sure you send those letters in. Make sure you send in some donations. Just like Candy said, even if it's $2 or $3, $5, doesn't matter. Send those in. Madman in the Morning, P.O. Box 625, Cedar Bluff, Virginia 24609.
It all adds up, folks.
And you mentioned Thanksgiving. We're doing something great for Thanksgiving as well.
Yes.
At the Heritage Hall in Tazewell coming up in a few weeks.
Yes, November 16th. We will all be there.
Looking forward to it.
With Star 95 and the Bargain Finder, which has partnered with us as well. We're doing a Madman Gives Back event for all those residents there at the Heritage Hall in Tazewell. So we are looking forward to that and wrapping those things up, getting ready to do that.
'Tis the season for giving, and it'll make your heart feel good.
Yeah,
There's going to be good food there, so I'm excited.
that's exactly right. That's right.
That's never going to hurt.
No.
But anyway, Zach had a great week. Candy, a little better week picking. I think I was 6-4, 7-3, somewhere in that ballpark. So everybody did.
You always do good, though. We know.
But I will
Madman
say
always
this:
does.
the dogs of the week again last week.
You pick them.
You're making somebody a lot of money.
Toledo, as a dog, wins outright, 51-24. Georgia Southern beat App State last week.
Yeah.
Beat them outright.
Yeah, that was App State first time they were ever ranked in the top 25. You thought, there's some momentum building down in Boone. Well, Georgia Southern's not a bad ball.
Good football
I
team.
think their only loss was to Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah,
So,
that's right.
Clemson.
Clemson.
Oh,
Yes,
Clemson.
Clemson.
I knew it was.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're
So
taking Clemson, Georgia.
yeah.
The
So
top four there.
I mean,
They're a good football team.
yeah. So that was two good underdog picks right there. I'm waiting to see what
I
you
got
got
another
this
big
week.
one this week.
Uh-oh,
We'll-
another dog.
We'll throw that out there a little
You're
later.
having 2 dogs this week, or
I've
just
only got one.
One
I've only
dog.
got one. I did a little
dog.
research
Well, I'm
and I
trying
had
to do better. I've had some of the listening audience text me saying last week, Candy, your picks were good. Keep it up.
There you go.
So I'm trying, okay?
It was a crazy week last week. Kentucky, I guess you could call it a buzzer beater, right?
Right.
They won on the last play of the game.
Yeah.
But they won.
They did.
I was glad they won.
Yeah.
On a
That
pass
was
interference,
wild.
get another play, untimed down, pass in the end zone.
It was just, sometimes it just meant for the team to win.
I'm telling you, I think
Luck on your side.
Kentucky's on a mission. It's almost destiny. You see these games
Yeah.
are close, they're winning them close. I'm telling you, I think Kentucky's going to sneak up into that top 5 or 6, maybe get into that playoff if they can
They're
get
right
by Georgia.
there. They're
Yeah.
right there. And you know, like you said, November's a tough month. You've got some good matchups. A lot of people can fall, and these other teams can move right up in the top 5.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah.
So much football left.
There's a ton of
It's
football.
gonna be a crazy month.
This is a fun time of year.
And I know Brett's not here, so I wrote this down. I was going to actually remind him this morning that South Carolina beat Tennessee, but I guess I can remind Candy.
Well,
that.
you already said it there, Madman. But I will say, I wasn't surprised.
That's always a good game, and South Carolina, Tennessee, whether it's up here or down there, it's always a good game.
Good game. I mean, you know, if you're a hardcore South Carolina fan, I'm a hardcore Tennessee, but my Tennessee they're going to have to do some stuff in the off season to straighten up a little bit. Hopefully, the coach will.
Wipe it all out.
Well,
Clean house.
there's always next year for Tennessee.
Washington State beat Stanford 41-38. They're 7-1. They are in the driver's seat. I like Leach, and I just love to see them get in there. If they can keep winning and win that Pac-12, they may jump into that playoff.
Yeah.
I'd love to see
He's a
them.
deserving man. He's a good guy. He cares about the kids. Speaking of that, though, what about the deal with Maryland? You know, all that trouble with that poor young man that died on the hill, and but he did lose his job. I could not believe when everybody was, so to speak, in the clear. You know, when the news first broke about Maryland, and then of course later on in the evening they did fire the coach for Maryland. And you know, hey, listen, these guys, their health comes first. It should always
Yeah,
come
yeah.
first.
It's about the kids. It's not about the coaches. It's about the kids,
That's right.
and it is about their safety. You know, they talk about it all the time. So yeah, you know, as that whole big thing come to full circle, I think they got rid of the right people.
I do too,
Yeah.
and I'm
there's
glad.
too many resources out there now for
There's no
players to be
excuse.
unhealthy.
There's no
Yes.
excuse.
You know, with the food they eat, the supplements they use, and the trainers and doctors they have
Yes.
on
They can
staff.
monitor them on the spot,
Yeah.
am I right?
Yeah.
Checking the potassium levels and those kind of things,
Yeah.
so
So
there's no excuse.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that. So hopefully that gets Maryland out of the dark.
And I'm still, my heart
And
goes
they
out
can
to
kinda-
that family.
Yeah.
Couldn't imagine what they went through.
Yeah, tough situation. But yeah, great week last week. West Virginia got back on track. Just a lot of good football last week. Big games this week, and starting with that big one down in the Bluegrass State. Georgia comes a calling.
Yep.
Georgia goes to Kentucky. Georgia is an 11.5-point favorite.
That surprised me. I had to look at that again. I'm like 11.5 points. I mean, I thought that was just a little bit too much of a cushion there. You know, I couldn't understand that because I think Kentucky's really a good team.
There's a couple of wild spreads this week.
Yeah, they are, and that is definitely one of them, I think.
I agree. Well, I mean, this is the thing. I want Kentucky to win. I have a feeling Georgia may pull this one out, but the spread, I'm taking Kentucky for sure.
I'm with you. Yeah, that 11.5 scares me. So Kentucky covers. I'm not confident enough to say that Kentucky's going to win, but I do say they at least cover.
Yeah, and I kind of agree. Georgia may slip up and win this game, but I do think every week Kentucky's in these ball games. I think if they got it close in the fourth quarter, they may be able to pull the upset.
Yeah.
And if
And
they
the
can pull that
defense.
upset, they win this. I said this earlier in the year about Kentucky winning that SEC East, kind of just as a jab, but it's now we're
It's a
sitting
reality.
here. It's a reality that they can win the East right now if they beat Georgia. Stoops has done an awesome job. The defense is probably one of the best defenses in the country. If you look at all-around defense, they have trouble scoring because they're one-dimensional, running the football. It'll be close. I like Kentucky.
Can you
I like
imagine if they had a good receiver? That's just it. I mean,
They
they
could
had
absolutely.
some. I mean, because you know they're keying on the run. You know, they pretty much know someone's going to get the ball and run it. But I know their defense is what's keeping these people from scoring. That's why I'm saying 11.5. I don't think Georgia's going to be able to score that easily against the Kentucky defense.
Yeah, this Snell kids.
Yeah. You Kentucky basketball fans out there, it's too late to cross over and be Kentucky
right.
football.
You can't get on the
stick
wagon.
You stick with whoever you have.
Exactly.
If you'd have done this earlier in the year, okay, but it's too
Too late.
late now.
That's exactly right.
You can't switch now.
Right, exactly.
We've been Kentucky fans all year.
We have.
Check the tape.
I like that. Yeah, exactly. Go
They're
back.
pulling for the Bluegrass State.
That's right. Check the podcast out every week and you'll
Yeah.
know this. Oklahoma, Texas Tech, another wild spread. 11.5. Oklahoma's giving 11.5. This is in Lubbock.
That's it.
And
It's
Texas
in
Tech
Lubbock,
at
Texas.
home. Queensbury
Hey,
knows
that's
how
a
to score
Waylon
points.
Jennings song. Lubbock, Texas.
That's right.
Yeah, it scares me because the people that make odds, you know, they usually know a few things that some people don't. So it's a little, 11.5.
Is
But
someone hurt we don't know about?
I think so.
I did a little research and I didn't see anybody, but again, they kept Milton from us last week and we didn't know he was
Yeah.
hurt.
That's
But
what
I
I'm
think
saying.
Texas Tech at home covers the spread, and that'll be a good ball game. That's going to be your 58 to 55 type ball game that you're not going to want to miss.
Yeah, because they can score points, both
Yeah.
teams.
If you like defense, then I would not watch this. ball
This is
game.
going to be a shootout offensively.
Again, as we say every week, there's always that game. Take the over if you were to bet on it.
Yeah, we don't condone it.
Take the over. I got this little.
That's right.
He's trying to help Candy out here. I'm still trying not to go with my heart every time. The Oklahoma Texas Tech game, if you see, I've crossed, I've circled, I went back and forth with the Texas Tech and Oklahoma. But you know what? I
She
like
took
Lee-
both. She did.
I
No
excel.
wonder she's taking
Yeah.
take the over.
But seriously, I think 11.5 points is crazy. I'm going with Texas Tech, and I like Mike Leach.
Well, and we agree again.
My fans are gonna
Kingsbury will throw they're going to throw the ball all over the field, and the quarterback that they've got, he's good. He's
Yeah.
real good. It'll be interesting. I know that Oklahoma will score a ton of points in this ball game against Texas Tech because they have zero defense. But I don't think Oklahoma can stop Texas Tech either.
No, this is going to be one of those games that,
Last guy with the ball.
yeah.
Could be the winner.
I
And
love those
it
kinda
might mean
games.
Texas Tech wins the ball game. If they get the ball late and got a chance down by 3, they could win it. Of course, I don't think there'll be a 3 anywhere in that game. Nobody's kicking a field goal.
That's always a tough place to play. That's what I think. That's one of the tougher places in Big 12 to play.
It is.
So definitely got the home field advantage. So the 11.5, that I don't like that.
All the Texas teams are that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Texas has a big heart just like this girl does from Amarillo. I understand.
Exactly.
Football's in your blood.
Right. Before we go on to the next one, guys, I want to mention, don't forget about Coalfield Sports. These guys, Mayor does a little bit with CoalfieldSports.com. Guys, they're all the time. And it's
Yeah.
everything from the West Virginia side to the Virginia side, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, Eugene and Brady and Ryan and them and Havoc, they all do a great job. I a little bit when I get time, but they've kept everybody up to date. What's going on this year and playoff time? That's the
Big.
spot to go. CoalfieldSports.com. You're going to get some great inputs from those guys about what's going to happen coming up next couple of weeks in the playoffs around the area. So yeah, check that out for sure.
Yeah.
CoalfieldSports.com and Coalfield Sports on Facebook and Twitter. Like right there, when you're on the Facebook, find it Madman in the Morning.
That's
Find
right.
all the fun stuff on Facebook.
Exactly.
Star 95.
Especially if you were one to maybe pick some people and bet on the game.
Yes, yes.
Right.
I'm just saying.
That's right. Like those dogs of the week, now 14-2. Another big one at Texas.
Another one.
WVU back on track, demolishes Baylor last week. This right here could be that step, because if they knock off Texas, who's up there in that top 6 or 7, this will get West Virginia back in that driver's seat in that
Yeah.
Big 12.
It could also help Greer with his Heisman, maybe, possibly, you think?
It can. I think it could if he's going to have to show out. He's had a couple bad games that really, his stock plummeted, and the kid from Alabama, I mean, he's only playing 2 quarters a game, and he's still out throwing everybody.
Yeah, that's the bad thing about
They're playing a high school schedule,
yeah.
but they're beating everybody.
But that's not fair. They always have the easier schedule.
Yeah.
In my book, they really do.
Yeah.
They don't play the toughest teams, but they are good. That said.
Yeah, so this one's going to be interesting. I'll let you pick first.
Well, I'm going to go with
Candy
my heart a
is
little bit,
about
although
to-
I do think Texas is very, very good team. I'm going to go with Texas. I'm sorry, West Virginia fans, but I do feel like that Texas is going to win this one. 3.5. I think Texas is given 3.5 or something. No,
Yes.
I'm sorry, West Virginia's given 3.5.
No, Texas is giving 3.5.
Right. So I feel like the Texas will win.
What do you think, Mayor?
Yeah, I'm going with Texas too. We saw West Virginia slip up a few weeks ago, and Iowa State on the road at Iowa State. They regrouped last week at home,
At home.
but Austin's a little bit better than Iowa State. That's a little bit tougher place to play. At Texas, it seems like year in, year out since West Virginia has been in the Big 12, they've played West Virginia a lot tougher than some other opponents in the Big 12. So I'm going to take Texas at home with the points.
The first one we disagree on.
Oh,
Actually, I think Texas will win, but Herman's done a great job. He's bringing them up after 2 years in a row losing to Maryland open season. It's crazy how you lose such a bad ball game. I think Texas is probably the winner in the Big 12. But I think this game comes down to late, a field goal game late, 24-21, 31-28, maybe even 30-28. 3 points, I think, is not enough to cover. I think West Virginia covers. I don't think they win the ball. I think it's a close ball.
It's going to be a good game.
so we didn't technically disagree.
Right. Texas wins.
Yes.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
think they
I'll agree
keep
with that
keep
then.
their hopes alive to win the Big 12.
Yes.
They may end up in the playoffs if Notre Dame loses, and they
It's
could
possible.
lose this
Yes.
week.
Very possible.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's a shakeup right now. I mean, there's several teams still in the playoffs.
A lot of football left. I'm just disappointed in this whole. We'll talk about that later.
Uh-oh,
in
the
this whole,
system.
yeah, the
Well, at least we
rankings,
have
but
playoffs. We didn't even used to have that.
that's right. So we've yeah, that's right. We Texas. More Texas football. Texas A&M Auburn. Another big game. Auburn's 6.5 point favorite. I don't know how.
That's gonna be
This
a
is
good
a
game.
weird line right here.
Yes.
Auburn does not look good. I don't think. Hasn't looked good in a couple of weeks.
They're not as good as they were last year, I don't think.
You know, Stidham, I really like Stidham, and when he was at Baylor, and when he come to Auburn, lit it up. But it's like the offense that just took a nosedive this season. I'll go ahead and start with this one. I've looked back and forth, and really, up until now, hadn't made my pick. But now that I look at it, I'm definitely going to take Texas.
You have both circled too?
I just have neither. I thought about it. Jimbo Fisher's done a great job at Texas A&M.
Florida
They've
State
got the
fans are
talent.
crying.
Yes, yeah. Willie
Big
Taggart,
time.
Willie
Big-
Taggart.
Sad.
You got it.
Sad
Yeah,
story.
you got
got
what you
it.
asked for. I like Texas A&M. I don't think that Auburn wins the game. I think Texas A&M wins this game outright. I just think they're a better football team.
They are a better football team. That one I did not have a problem with. Texas A&M, I think will easily defeat Auburn.
And Texas A&M's been in the SEC long enough that going to places like Bama and
They're
Auburn
used to
and
it.
Georgia, it doesn't intimidate them.
No.
So I'm with you too. Texas A&M wins this one outright on the road.
There we go. Hey, we all agree again. How about that? There's something in the
Something
coffee
in the
at
coffee.
Coffee
We
House
did
Cafe.
get this from the same pot, y'all.
I put a
about
little
that?
extra in mine. I don't know what you
There
guys
you,
have.
there you go.
I'm a little perkier than you guys.
That's why the glasses are not clear, right? Another big one this week. Of course, there's big games scattered everywhere, but Penn State on the road. They've been up and down last couple weeks. Penn State on the road at Michigan. Another wild line, kind of tricky. Michigan's favored by 11.5.
11 and a half is a lot, don't you think?
I do.
I do.
Yeah.
That's another one I had a problem with. I think that's too much, my opinion, but what do I know?
I would consider Penn State in the top half of the Big Ten, and I don't think anyone in the Big Ten top half is 11.5
Point spread.
apart. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm taking Penn State on the road to cover. If not, they may win this one outright.
I think they could win it.
Yeah.
Hey, but I'm definitely going Penn State myself, and I think that Penn State has a good chance to win.
Yeah.
50-50.
We agree again, and if McSorley, it all depends on how he plays. We've seen this for the last 2 or 3 years. If McSorley plays good from the very start, he keeps them in that game and a chance to win it. If he don't play good, Michigan gets out in the lead, game over. I don't think they come back to
You
win.
know, they almost beat Ohio State, remember?
Yes.
I mean, it came down and really,
Yeah.
Penn State,
Should have beat them.
they outplayed them. So, you know, I don't
The
know what
coach-
happened from that point. I think it kind of put some air out of their
Franklin is the coach.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
He did make some bad decisions. I was very upset.
What
that
a
game.
horrible call.
I could not believe that. But speaking of that, though, I think it really did kind of shake their confidence because they had the game, should have won the game.
Yeah.
Well, McSorley last year had a tremendous year, and I think a lot of teams on the offseason watched film on him, saw
Yes.
a few things that they could take advantage of, and that's what has happened this year. They've taken advantage of just a few things that he does that are, defendable, to not use a better term, but so a lot of these teams, Harbaugh will be one of them. He'll dial up a defense.
Oh yeah.
But I still don't think it's 11.5 points better for either team.
Yeah, I'm like you guys. I think Penn State's a winner in this one. I think McSorley. This is when he shows out. Normally,
Yeah.
Ohio State's, the Michigan State's. He shows up, plays ball because he knows it's the big stage, it's the big lights, and he's normally that guy that
If
shows up.
Franklin can stay out of the way.
If he'll just not make any calls late in the game, just turn it
Just
over
let
to
him
the
play
coordinator.
ball, okay?
That's right. Guys, this next one is a doozy, and I'm telling you, this is a very
I'm
interesting ball game.
hoping.
Alabama.
Want.
They'll be liquored up from the word go down,
man.
down at LSU.
Those Tigers, get those Tigers by the tail.
They LSU will be ready, I'm sure.
This is a
That
night game,
place
too.
is going to be. It's night game.
Prime
It's
time.
at LSU.
Prime time.
They'll be warmed up by the time game time
Yeah.
gets off.
I'm watching this one, and my
Alabama.
hopes are up on this one.
Yes, mine too. And it's a 14.5 point favorite.
I don't know if he's making these spreads.
I think
Unreal.
someone just threw darts at a dartboard. Yeah, that's the spread this week. But Death Valley is one of the toughest places to play in the country at night.
They call it that for a reason.
Yeah, so Alabama, no way, 14.5 point favorite. So this is easy money, I think.
Okay,
LSU.
you have two, but you have more. And I think that he's a great quarterback. I
Yes.
know he's probably not at the same level exactly as Tua, but I'm telling you, I'm looking for an upset in this game. I hope that's okay that I went first, Madman.
Absolutely.
But I mean,
That's
I'm
fine.
telling you, I'm
And
so
personality-wise,
excited.
I'll take Coach O any over Saban any day.
Oh,
Yes. Yeah.
that- who would?
Can't beat him, man. He's a good one.
No.
You can't beat him.
But seriously, guys, I mean, I have been saying all along, I think LSU can beat Alabama,
Yeah.
and they're playing at LSU. That's a big plus in my book, so I'm going with the Tigers.
That was a few years ago. What was it, like 9-6?
Yes.
Something like. I would not doubt
They
this
always
to be
play
another
tight.
one of those games this year.
Defense,
Defense.
even
will
though there's two
win
explosive quarterbacks.
it. Yeah.
LSU.
LSU,
Yeah.
LSU.
go LSU.
Again, like the mayor said, night game. Like she said, we got a good quarterback. Alabama, guys, I just don't think they played anybody.
No.
There's no one on their schedule that has a winning record. LSU's played. They played Mississippi State, Georgia.
Florida.
Georgia would have been
Florida.
the toughest. I feel like Georgia would have
Yes.
been the toughest.
And-
But you know, that said, that you're only talking about a couple of games in this schedule, and even high school goes by strength of schedule. Am I right?
Yes.
I mean, points are gathered from strength
Yep.
of schedule,
Yep.
not win and losses.
Exactly.
But why? Why do they always get number one just because they beat these teams that really don't even matter?
Well, I think one thing that Alabama has is a disadvantage is they're not playing four quarters. They're not on the field. They're beating up on these teams 50-0. What happens to a kid playing quarterback when he gets sacked once, or
Yeah.
throws a pick early, or they get down 7-0?
Yeah.
And that could very well happen in this ball game.
This is going to be a four-quarter game.
I think LSU pulls the outright upset this week.
I hope that's your guy.
It's not. It's not. But you pulled that same upset.
Hey, I'm hoping so much, guys. I really am.
Yeah,
Anyone but Alabama.
Exactly.
I think we can all agree on that.
That's why we should just rename the show. Anyone but Alabama.
Anyone but Alabama. That's right. Notre Dame and Northwestern. Tricky little game. Could be a little
Yes.
trap game for Notre Dame.
Yes.
Put them in the right spot to fall out of that top four.
This one's interesting. 8.5. Notre Dame's getting 8.5. I think that's too much. Northwestern at home. That field looks like some yard grass. So it's going to be a little different for some of those Notre Dame kids to play on. But Northwestern has went toe to toe with everyone in the Big Ten this year. So I don't think they're going to be fearful of Notre Dame. Notre Dame has shown their vulnerability this year against a few teams. So I'm taking Northwestern at home.
Wow. Didn't see that coming. It's an
That's
8.5
that
point
old
spread,
left. That's
right?
that left hook right there. Yes.
It's an 8.5,
8.5
and that's
points.
what I was going back and forth with. But I'm going to say, Notre Dame's what, ranked third, and 27th Northwestern. I'm still going to go with Notre Dame, even though it's 8.5 point spread. That you're talking two scores.
Notre Dame. Well, I'm like Zach. I think Northwestern. And I will say this: there's a chance Notre Dame loses this game.
Yes.
Really, you think?
Yes. Northwestern has played as good as anybody out there when it comes to playing those conference games, and they've been toe to toe. Looks like
Oh, they're
said.
27th for some reason.
Yeah,
right?
they have been toe to toe with a couple good football teams, and Northwestern is kind of like those teams like Tech, those guys.
They show up.
They
in
play
big
up to the
games.
competition, play down the competition. This right here is their Super Bowl this year.
Yeah.
Because they know they're not going anywhere.
Well, but see, that's my point with Notre Dame. They can go somewhere, and they still have a chance to get in the top four. So I'm thinking, that would be momentum to me, and that would give me the drive to win this game. So that's kind of why I'm thinking Notre Dame.
There you go. It's in her coffee, guys. That's what it is.
They agree with me on most of them. It's in their coffee too.
You don't want to know what's in my coffee.
Florida.
I want to know.
I'll tell you after the show.
Okay.
There you go. Missouri goes down, plays. No place to play down in Gainesville, down in the swamps. Florida 7.5. Again, it's one of those tricky little lines that I don't know if Florida can beat anybody by more than 7 because they can't score any points. And although Missouri's defense is horrible,
Yeah.
they'll score some. I don't think they can keep Drew Lock from scoring something in this
Sure.
game. So I like Missouri only because it's 7.5. I still think Florida wins it. Defense wins it, not the offense, and I think it ends up about a 4-point ball game.
This Saturday is when Florida's offense shows up. Just because Mizzou's defense,
They're bad.
I think we get Brett out here blocking for us. We'll score against Mizzou's defense.
There you go.
They're not good.
They're
So
bad.
I'm taking Florida at home, despite the spread.
I am too. I pick up despite the spread 7.5. I feel like they're in the swamp. That's another big plus, and the defense is so bad for Missouri. I have to pick Florida.
Florida.
What do you say, man? 2 against 1.
I took Missouri, so there you go. I don't have enough in my coffee. couple pro games. We'll skip this one right here for just a moment. The Rams, New Orleans,
Wow.
interesting game.
What a great game last week. Rams and Green Bay. Did you see it?
Yeah.
That was a good game.
You know how much money Todd Gurley cost?
Oh,
Gurley was good though.
Did you
Gurley
see what
was
he did late in the
good.
game though? Did you see the end of the game?
I seen the little
When he
bit.
took a knee on the 3, let him tackle him on the 3
Oh,
instead of
please.
scoring.
Yeah, I did see that. Oh, I didn't think
Yeah.
about
The
that.
line was 7.5.
I
and
did because
over.
I remember making a statement to Rocky. I was like, well, that was nice of him to do that because they already
Yeah.
won. The
Yeah.
time's going out on the game.
if
But
you
I
took
didn't
the
think
under
about
on that
the
game,
bet.
you were a big winner.
I didn't
Yes.
bet. Can you tell?
So that touchdown would have put the Rams up by 8,
Yeah,
which would
would
have
have.
covered,
Which would have covered the spread.
and it would have put the game over,
Yeah.
which would have covered.
That would
And
have
so
been
when he went
over the
down, it
points.
really hurt a lot of people.
See, I was just thinking
Lot
it's
of
Not
not.
money
particularly
shifted in.
anyone on this show.
No.
Oh, I bet
We
they
don't
were.
condone
But
that.
you know that does happen sometimes. You know, some of them will go.
All
That
right.
shook you up a little. That bet thing, didn't it? There.
Yeah, it did. I'm not saying it got anybody on the show, but it could have.
It could have. It could have.
So, that being said, who do you guys like?
Hey, is this 1998 again? The Rams and
The
the Saints
Rams.
and the Saints.
There you
Hey,
go.
They're both
that's
good.
right.
The Saints. This has been a sneaky year for them. They're usually good,
Drew Brees, man.
but Drew Brees gets the record, and he's got some weapons around
He's
him.
going to break some more records, actually.
I think so too. But I also think this is the Rams' year. So I'm taking the Rams on the road.
I have to agree with you, Zach. That's what I've got circled here. Gurley and Goff. Gurley and Goff. Gurley and Goff. Yeah, I think that the Rams are going to win.
There you go.
It's their year. I think it's
The
their year.
Rams.
I think New Orleans looks great, but I think it's the Rams' year.
I think it's the Rams year. I agree with that. I think
They're Ram tough.
these two guys, man, they're playing ball every week. Gurley's doing everything he's supposed to. Goff's doing everything. Weapons everywhere.
Yeah. They're
I
loaded.
think they stubbed their toe this week. You know that a team throughout the season needs a loss every now and then to get their head straight.
So they don't
I
get
think,
the big head.
Right. And I think this is that game. So I think on the road, in the dome, Drew Brees, we know how he plays at home. I think New Orleans wins this game outright. But I do think it is a Rams. But I like New Orleans.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
Next. I saved this one for last.
I noticed
Because
that.
none of us like Alabama, none of us like the Patriots.
That's right. We're even kill on that.
I don't really
Exactly.
like Green Bay either.
I don't
Me-
either.
me either.
I don't like, Rogers, well, I just think he's just a little arrogant. What do you think? You just
Yes.
arrogant to me. Even during that game, did you see him on the sideline? And then that poor little guy. Okay, I did feel
And they
sorry.
traded him.
Did they
Yeah.
trade? Oh, he was left on the sideline. Okay, if you don't know what we're talking about, the end of the game, they punt off to Green Bay, right?
Right, he
And
fumbles.
Green Bay, the guy fumbled. Okay, so it's all on him. And then, of course, that's what sets up the win for the Rams. But the little guy's sitting over there, and I seen the camera kept going over there to him. And no one consoled that poor guy.
And he
Nobody
says little
could
guy,
do it.
he's 6'3", too.
Yeah, yeah, he's a monster.
Well, he still has a little
He's tall
heart.
as I am.
He has a little heart. Okay, but
Yeah.
anyway, I really
We got little
felt sorry
hands
for
because
him.
he fumbled.
Even though I was pulling against Green Bay, but I was like, but I still felt sorry for the guy, the big guy.
Where do you go to? Ravens?
Did somebody
Ravens,
pick him
yes.
up?
Yeah.
They picked
Yes.
him up, though, right?
Yeah.
We needed a different team.
Yeah, he-
Good for him.
Maybe he'll fumble this week when we play him. So Patriots 8.5 against Green Bay. A little tricky game.
Yeah.
So
I'm going with
any
Green
words
Bay.
of wisdom?
Green Bay, and I just feel like because
She
Rodgers,
just
let me say,
shouted that out.
Rodgers, and I don't care for him, but he's picking up. If you notice, he must be getting a little bit healthier. Because hey, that was a shootout. The Rams and
Yeah.
Green Bay,
Yeah.
I think the Rams are the better team, and I think the Rams are better than the Patriots. So I'm just saying, that's what I went by.
There you go.
I think it's going to be Green Bay.
Mary, what do you think?
Patriots have shown their vulnerability at home this year. Kansas City should have won in Foxborough a few weeks
Yes.
ago. The 8.5, that's another one of these wild lines this week that I don't like. Green Bay will cover. I don't know if they'll win outright, but they'll at least cover the 8.5.
There you have it. What do you say, Madman? Oh, little
Dog
inside.
of the week.
This was the dog.
That's why I
Okay.
saved it. So I got out of college and went over to the pros and did a little research and looked at this game. Like Mayor said, look at the home games they played. Close, 43-40-1, 33-30, I think, in another one. Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers looked like he was back. His knee's not 100%, but it's better than 80.
Much better.
And an 80% knee on Aaron Rodgers is as good as having him healthy, so he can move around. Their defense keeps them in it. And late in this ballgame, I think Green Bay pulls the outright upset this week on the road at New England.
I like it.
We all like it.
I think we all love it. I
Dog
like that
of the
dog.
week, guys. Take the Green Bay Packers plus the 8.5 points this week.
Hey, we pretty much agreed on all these games. What's
We
going
did.
on?
We did. We had just a couple we disagreed on, but
Well,
you
that,
know,
we have to
we all
discuss
have
them.
to mix the same stuff in our coffee
Mix
every
it
week.
up a little bit
There we go.
guys. There you go.
Listen to the Madman game. We'll give you our pick.
Always fun.
Yes.
Always fun.
So real quick before we go, don't forget about Madman Turns Santa. As we've all mentioned, you know, whether it's a $5 donation, whatever, don't forget about that. If you've got kids out there that you want them to have a Merry Christmas, make sure you get those letters sent in. And guys, don't forget to stop by the Coffee House Cafe here
We
in
had some little
Richlands.
bands over there, but well, they weren't very little, okay? They were bigger than me. But I think one guy got tickled. He was talking about Ohio State. Y'all hear that? I wanted
Yes.
to say, yes, I'm glad your Ohio State went down.
Exactly.
He
Especially
left, by the way.
to Purdue. That's what we
He
got
got his coffee got out.
That's
He
right.
left, by the way.
He can feel the heat. But anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in and watching. We appreciate it. Enjoy the games, high school, college, and pro. With the Madman game, we're out.
See ya.